Welcome to Manawaker Studios Flash Fiction Podcast. I'm CB Drogi. A quick note before we begin. Flash Fiction Podcast is supported by Manawaker Studios patrons on Patreon. Patrons of Manawaker Studio all get access to weekly stories and other content in the patron feed, and supporting at a higher tier includes a subscription to Manawaker Books. To find out more or to become a patron, visit patreon.com/Manawaker. This week, Respects by Michael Chin. The Sandor brothers' funeral. It wasn't just the boys from the Pacific Northwest who turned out, but boys from around the country who'd known them, who'd taken their overhead belly-to-belly suplexes, who'd traded whiskey shots and split hotel rooms along the road, and the boys who'd never met them before. Young boys paying their respects, contemporaries who never ran the same territories at the same times, brothers in spirit. There were fans, promoters who had booked them, the press, not just the dirt sheets in the mock magazines, but legit news. For the Sandor brothers died protecting the fans, leading the crew of wrestlers who carried them from the burning arena, the stunt gone wrong, the ones who went back inside one time too many. And Dennis Dean, the promoter with the harebrained scheme of a burned alive match with a bonfire at ringside. He didn't show. Not at first. Not until it was eulogy time. Not till after the Sandor's father had spoken, as if he meant to make a spectacle. He walked through the church doors, fast, firm, confident, heading straight down the aisle for the pulpit with all the bravado he'd walk into the ring, till Joe Bagwell stopped him. Joe Bagwell, whose real name I'd heard only days before when he cast off the mummy costume and gimmick Dean had saddled him with. Joe Bagwell, removed from the bandages, was no longer a cartoon villain who was intended to lose the burned alive match, but just a monster of a man. 6'10", 350 pounds, angry. He caught Dean by the shoulder, reaching up from the pew. When Dean shook him off, Bagwell stood up and caught his throat, turned him around. "You don't get a say in this." And Dean looked to all of us who he'd booked to wrestle in rainstorms, sentenced to fire and steel cages and flat back bumps onto sheets of metal thumbtacks. And I imagined his future flashed before him, that he might emerge from the church bloodied. But worse than that, there was the trial ahead. Not just 2 wrestlers, but 17 other bodies on his hands, and clarity that not one of us would be in his corner. This has been Respects, written by Michael Chin. The Flash Fiction Podcast theme song is by Kevin MacLeod. I'm CB Drogi. Thanks for listening. Episode 0145, copyright 2016, CB Drogi and Manawaker Studio.